What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. You already know today, if you read the title, is Tyrese, country music rapping, bro country, uh, and fitness gurus. And the full title of this whole video is about forgetting your main audience. A lot of times people forget who is their main audience. Who is their target audience? Who are they speaking to? And that's why when you see people start selling things and they're all over the place, they basically have forgotten their target audience. And that's where that comes from. Forgetting your target audience. Tyrese is going through a custody battle and everybody's like mocking him because he's crying. That's sad. I get that. That is sad. We're going to leave that where that is. Let him be upset. He needs to deal with those emotions. That's traumatic. Not having access to your child is traumatic. Paying $13,000 a month for years and still not having access to your child is traumatic. But here's the flip note. He's been attacking his target audience. His target audience has always been Black women who have purchased his CDs, who's filled up the seats at his concerts. As he's transitioned to be a movie kind of star, he still hasn't lost that particular audience. He hasn't crossed over. Now, his whole thing where he's fighting with The Rock, that's like the biggest career killer ever. Why? Because you're trying to cross over into a market and have other kind of different types of women be your target audience and men. But if you go over there and you kick in the sand in the face of the biggest crossover artist ever, which is The Rock, who's a Black Samoan, but you wouldn't know it if you spoke to him. You wouldn't even know. I mean, you know he's Black Samoan, but his audiences are white women, families. Like, he's a movie franchise saver. This guy's constantly working, constantly making money, constantly in any kind of movie, any kind of production behind the scenes. He just kicked off a show on HBO. So to kick sand in the dirt of someone who could potentially help you have work is a no-no. Number two, he released an album. It didn't do well. Now, albums have not been doing well for years, but people still had a strong target audience, right? A strong audience that would go out and support. And if they didn't buy the CD, they would buy the tour, right? They'd line up for the tour. So even if it had slow CD sales, they had this tour going on and they still made money on merch and many items. Because most artists don't make money off CDs. They make money off the tours. And if the tours stay productive and they still make sales, the record label still puts out the albums, right? Because yeah, the Millie may sell like 300,000 copies of the album, but they keep growing this brand, right? And some people are stuck in those 360 deals where the company makes money every which way, from merch, from you going on tour, everything. So again, Tyrese has been bashing Black women, bashing their hair, bashing their weight, bashing everything for 3 years, has a meltdown on social media, which he's been using as a bully pulpit, and is upset. Now, what are some ways to mitigate? What are some ways to mitigate this issue? Tyrese can invest in other things. If he takes his other money and completely invests into real estate, completely invests into small franchises, he doesn't have to worry about that. Now, what people don't talk about on the flip side is Ludacris, who started out a rapper, who went into the movies, who's in the same Fast and Furious franchises, who even had a bad, baby mama drama split, and the woman, he ended up getting full custody of his daughter in Atlanta. That's all he does. Ludacris is completely invested in franchises and real estate, and has completely moved away from the whole rap thing, completely removed from music in that way, and is just in an investor position. The lesson to learn here is, one, don't crap on people who can work with you. Two, is transition wisely. Now, we can do all kind of examples all day of other than Tyrese. We can go Taylor Swift. We can go Katy Perry. Listen, the reason Katy Perry and Taylor Swift are having such backlash. Taylor Swift is the epitome of like 16-year-old white girl with no makeup. And now you bring her out there, even though she's 27 at this point, she's been doing this for years, and she wants to dress provocative. You can't just go wholesome American girl, provocative, right? People don't like it. Every artist tries to do it. Justin Timberlake, all these artists try to do this. Like, look, I'm singing with rappers. Miley Cyrus, all these people are doing it. But the backlash is, that's not your target audience. Your target audience is young teenagers and their parents who buy the CDs. Again, Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus, it's just the truth. If you're a woman, keep your hair long. If you have to appeal to audiences, keep your hair long. This whole, I'm gonna cut all my hair off and shave my head, it doesn't work. It just doesn't appeal to your target audience. I mean, like, young girls think it's cool, but again, like, that's the whole point. Like, you're appealing to young teenagers and young families. If I'm a father or a mother and I see you cut all your hair off, you're dressing like a hooker on your album cover, I'm not buying it. I'm thinking this is the start of my daughter rebelling. I was in the car a couple of weeks ago with a teenager who cut all her hair off and had like a patch of hair and it was dyed green. And I go, what did your parents say when you did this? Well, they weren't angry. And the reason I thought that was wrong of her parents to not be angry is kids are looking for a disciplinarian. They're looking for pushback in teenage years, because all of a sudden you have these people just go way out there on a limb and there's no pushback from parents. It's like, I can't do anything to get your attention. Surveys show over and over when they survey kids who had tough parents, or as my case, military parents, the structure that that person provided, the kids were more grateful. They felt more loved. Kids who were just kind of let free to be like feral animals, you know what I mean? Like, do whatever you feel. Like, they did regret it. They always, in the surveys, regretted it. So the key here in all this is, and people have been getting on me a lot lately, if you have an audience you're marketing to, market to that audience. Like, don't forget your audience, appeal to your audience. A lot of times people say, well, Chris Brown, he beat up Rihanna. He beat her up. Yeah, but guess what he did every day after? Because if you guys don't realize this, before the whole Rihanna thing, Chris Brown was still doing kind of like young teenager tours, like very young audiences, 12 to 15. And it wasn't as much grinding and dancing. It was like dancing, but not like physical, like, yeah, I'm grinding, right? It was very like marketed to teenagers, and moms could bring their teenage daughters. After that whole Rihanna thing, he had to like market to grown women. He had to overly market to grown women, overly market songs. They kept appealing and apologizing to audiences and be like, I learned, look how much I learned. I've been in therapy. And what was he doing? He was appealing to his new target audience. His audience is no longer Disney related people and moms, soccer moms. It was kind of like more older Black women, just a little bit, because he knew he had lost that window of time. And that happens with a lot of artists. Raven-Symoné, classic opportunity here. Raven-Symoné was on Disney Channel. She was in Disney movies, and they wanted that trend to continue. They wanted her to keep being 16-ish Black girl, but she said she couldn't keep her weight down. She said she was tired of playing those roles. So she lost out on several years of movie making. I mean, Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, prime example, Britney Spears' sister was in a CV show. Because of the height of Britney Spears, you can't have Britney Spears, but you can have a girl that looks just like Britney Spears, her little sister, and then she gets pregnant at 16. Completely ruins the show. She's no longer a high schooler. We've lost that. And the key here is you have to stay talking and appealing to your target audience. This channel, which people may not believe this, the analytics on this channel are like 70% male. Why? Because I'm talking about things about getting more money, starting businesses, being ambitious. And sometimes that doesn't appeal to women. Sometimes that appeals to women when finances are tight. Sometimes that appeals to women when they get a divorce, or they're a woman trying to transition and get an investment, rental property, or start a business. But at the end of the day, majority of people watching this channel are male. Why? Because they're usually the ones who are like, man, I really got to make more money. I really got to take care of my family. I really got to hustle. So that's why sometimes you hear what I'm talking about in the commentary on the channel is very straightforward. Like, hey, fix your credit. Hey, my messages are usually short and to the point. Just like this one today, like Tyrese. If your audience who you sell to, and I'll give you a comparison, the best one, Tank. His name is T-A-N-K. I'm not a giant fan of the R&B music that's being out right now because it doesn't appeal to me as well. I like old 80s stuff, but the people, what Tank does that Tyrese doesn't. Tank does 10 posts on like love and babies and music, and then you'll have one post where like, hey, African American women, could you work out more? Hey, and you're like, hey, what are you doing, Hank? And then he goes back to appeal. Hey, African American women, be nice. Like he's slipping it in there in a way that makes sense. I think he probably has a social media manager who helps him be like, get off the internet, right? Tyrese doesn't have that chill. He's just like bash. Hey, y'all, buy my album. Bash. Hey, y'all, I'm going through this court. bash, bash, bash. And it's like, you could have won over so many millions of women, and they would have bought your CDs and gone to your concerts if you'd have been like, I'm just a man loving I love my children, and I'm just trying to make music and make movies, and I just need y'all support. He would have got so much more love and millions of lady audience built up, because they'd have been like, look at this man trying to make right. I mean, that's just the way it is. This is marketing 101. This whole video I'm doing right now is marketing 101. If you're a white female and you sing music, keep your hair long. Stay in shape. If you're a woman trying to get a certain target man, you're gonna have to work out and wear dresses all the time. You know, like, just there's just some things, they are what they are, right? Be who you are for sure. If you want to cut your hair off, do what you got to do. You want to color it, go ahead, but realize those things are outside the norm. Nicki Minaj getting all these people to, you know, she doesn't have a boob tattoo, but what I've seen from the trend is all these women getting boob tattoos. And I remember sitting in an audience, and 4 of my guys friends beside me were like, that is the ugliest, nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life, is a boob tattoo. And I was like, boom, there you go. There you have it. You know, it's not a big survey, but I've yet to meet many men who are like, yeah, I want a girl tattoo from her head to her toes. Yeah. Nobody cares if you got an ankle tattoo, a spring break, you know, arm tattoo, or whatever, you know, a little tattoo. But when you start tattooing your whole body and covering your whole body, people, you know, people get, you know, feel some type of way about it. Now, yesterday, I'm going to do another one here, or I'm still talking about it, but prime example, yesterday we had a friend say, people in their 30s with no kids, you can't bash people with kids. And I had to go, be careful, man. Careful what you're saying. Because there's a big kind of cultural thing here is having children out of wedlock is still irresponsible. It just is. It's irresponsible. It's period. It's a conversation. Now, you could say, Erica, but it's a person. Every situation is different, though. It could be people in a couple. They're in the process of getting married. They're in the process of they bought a house together. There's all kinds of situations. I have one family member. He's been with his wife for over 30 plus years, and they've never married. So there's all kinds of situations here. But at the end of the day, to say, how dare a part of society be happy and, you know, proud of themselves for being responsible is wrong. That's your target audience. This guy's an investor, and he's talking to people who want to be more responsible and have more money. Like, you can't do that. You can't cut your target audience. So I'm gonna look at some of your comments, but that's the majority of this conversation, is focusing on your target audience. And another one here on is fitness YouTubers. It's a big market, but here's the problem with fitness YouTubers. A lot of people start out just, look at my body, half naked, a lot of women, and a lot of them I see in masterminds. I'm there in the mastermind, and they're trying to figure out, how do I get away from this? You can't. You've built your whole career on having your ass in every damn photo on Instagram. And so now you've had a kid, or now you got married, or something has happened, you're just going to lose parts of your audience. And there was one girl, they interviewed her, and they're like, how do you feel you lost 300,000 Instagram followers? And she was like, yeah, because I stopped posing in my bikini because I had a baby, and I talk more about the books I read. Well, you've just changed your target audience. Your target audience came here to see you in a bikini. Same thing with some of these fitness YouTuber guys. I feel really sorry, but it just is what it is. If you're a fitness YouTube man, a lot of these guys are just wanting to know how to get muscles. And when you start talking about other things, they don't want to hear that. It's just how it is. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go read some of your comments. I'm kind of scared too, but I'll do it. All right. Rana, hey. Jackie, hey. Logic Range Free. Tyrese can stop acting like a jealous woman. Take acting jobs and keep investing. That's the quote of the show. Logic reigns supreme. Again, Tyrese can stop acting like a jealous woman, take acting jobs, and keep investing. Now, I believe in men have emotions. I have several male cousins. So, give you for example, I have 6 aunts, and then every aunt had sons except for my mom and one other aunt. So we have very few girls in our family. So I think that's kind of how my channel became more men focused. But a lot of times I've seen situations with child support and being a good guy and like, hey, I'm trying to help you here. And a lot of times women are reasonable. But there are women who are unreasonable. I will say that. Now, Tyrese in this situation, again, should have spent all his time appealing to his target audience, Black women, and saying, I'm going through this struggle of this child support case. And I just want to know how to make it right, you know? And I know that sounds to y'all. You're probably thinking, Erica, that's so petty. That's a pathetic dude begging for stuff. But what that is that's just appealing to your target audience, which for him is Black women. David Vassar, good morning. Tim, Drew, Anita, D, morning. Jackie, Tyrese needs to get it together. He needs to pull a friend. He needs to pull up friend to give him some tough love and tell him what he needs to hear, not what he wants to hear. That's so hard. As people become famous, it's hard to get know people. Now, prime example, I have a lot of friends who I started this YouTube channel with, and they still don't get that I do this YouTube channel, but they will congratulate me. They go, you know, that's good. You've been doing consistently for years. They don't get it. And I think it's going to take 10 years before a lot of people get YouTube, but they've been congratulatory, right? When you become famous as a singer, when you become famous as a football player, when you become famous like that, like the people that's been along the way have been yes people, right? There's a few new no people in there, a few people of reason, but a lot of times it's a lot of yes people, right? Like he has this wife who see this new wife that's supposed to be smart, she's educated. You see she ain't nowhere on social media saying anything, right? She just sitting down quiet enjoying her life, right? Because she knows maybe some of this is real emotion and some of this is him just going off because he be going off on Instagram. So on the social media, right? And so it's hard to give someone clear feedback when they don't want that, right? People usually get clear feedback when they are wrong. So I even have family members who are like, you know what, Erica, can you help me do A, B, and C? Like, and these are same people 5 years ago, like wouldn't ask me for nothing. So it's hard to get true friendship and true feedback. And there's this thing I was watching from this show. It was about marriage, but instead it was like your friends, like even if you're in marriage, but even friends, period. Good friends are not friends that you're always like, it's everything's always chill and party. Good friends are friends that once in a while have to challenge you. So, I mean, that's just truth. Like if you want to have a good friend once in a while got to go, girl, come on. Girl, come on. I don't know if you've seen some of these fitness blogs, but there are a lot of Black and Hispanic ladies. Once they started working out every day, they started cooking healthier meals, they lost all their friends. Surveys show if your spouse is fat, you will be fat. If your spouse is in shape and you don't get in shape, you're headed for divorce. Studies show that because it's a lifestyle, right? So a good friend, a good spouse, a good person that you're with will give you some feedback. So that was kind of like what I saw in that. Miss D, I appreciate your transparency. I am female. Thank you. And I appreciate every single female person I have. I just watch my analytics and go, whoa, I guess, you know, it's just because I'm straightforward, it doesn't appeal to everybody. Okay, Jackie Will. This is why I joined this channel, because the great info you provide and educating us in the process. Yeah, you gotta be straightforward. Kemet Trill. I'll take Teddy Pendergrass over Mr. Tyrese today. R&B is void of real feeling. Very true. Like I went to several, like, what's his name? Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke is the classic example where sugar goes to shit in no time, right? So Robin Thicke is like, his target audience is women, and he's marketing the R&B, he's marketing to them. And then of course, you know, it shows he was cheating and he got a divorce. So, you know, all of a sudden his record sales went down, his tour sales went down. But that was his whole his whole selling point was, I'm Mr. R&B, I'm Mr., you know, Mr. cool white guy with this sexy Black wife. And then it was a facade, right? So you have to be careful. Who is your target audience? I mean, you can make good music. You can still make good music in this area, but 9 times out of 10, if you ever walk over to this house, I'm listening to Anita Baker, Luther Vandross on Pandora, and you name it 80s. I'm talking about 80s rock and 80s R&B. That's just where I am, you know, 80s baby. Right. Tim, too funny IG fails. Yeah, I mean, like, there's several Instagram folks who, I mean, and sometimes the life cycle of YouTube is 2 to 5 years, right? Where at the end of 5 years, some people go away, right? Elliot Huss is a mammoth of a beast. This guy pretty much walked away a year ago from YouTube. and then came back and did some more videos and had the same volume, same appreciation. There's a lot of fitness YouTubers who they get burnt out, they take a couple months off and it's all gone. So the whole thing of a lot of these machines, if you're appealing to people, you need to have a system in place that your videos still get promoted, your blog still gets promoted, people still buying your clothes and sharing it. So it's a lot of work. It's a business. And I think when people mock Instagrammers and YouTubers like this isn't a real business, it is. It's a serious business. People who are broke are not doing business strategies, right? They're not doing things that monetize or sell. Logic reigns supreme, but clearly he is jealous of The Rock because you can't get mad at a man for taking the spinoff. Who would? See, that's the thing. The Rock is known, when Rock comes into a franchise, he's called a franchise saver. So you guys saw The Mummy. He was a franchise saver. Once he left the Mummy movie, the next Mummy movie did poorly, and then the Mummy movie after that, they just went straight to like DVD. Then you also have The Rock went and did, I mean, I could name like 7 movies, but every movie Rock's kind of went into, he went into it as a franchise saver. Like the movie company wanted to put millions of dollars into it, but only if Rock would kind of come and like jazz up the franchise. Now, there's been some, moments where he's been in some movies you're like, that was a terrible movie, but that was his thing. Like same thing with Kevin Hart and The Rock. Why do they keep making movies together? Like they're both going to be in Jumanji because they're box office gold. Kevin Hart, I think he might have lost some of his in this last little kerfuffle, but that's kind of what The Rock does. And so you want to be a friend with The Rock because The Rock is going to have work and always be making money. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You taught me about tax liens, which I invested in better than bank returns. Yes, logic is free. I'm telling you, in all these situations where people are wanting to go away from their niche, like I have a whole other little channel idea where it's gonna be me traveling and talking about some other stuff. But it's because I know I can't dilute this channel. This channel is about investing, making more money, tax liens mostly, and real estate. How do you get there? You got to raise your income and kill some of that debt and invest. Even if you invest a piece at a time. That's why I'm always talking about ladder income, investing, a piece of the pie, because people don't think $25 here and there makes a difference. But if you keep doing that over a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, every single week, every couple of days, I know waitresses who they would work every day of the week. No, they take off Sunday. I can't remember this one girl's name, but she took off Sunday, but she'd work every day of the week. And she would put $25 every day, regardless of what was going on, over to this side savings account. I'm pretty sure that girl had 10 grand when she went to buy a house. And everybody was like, how does she make that money? She worked at Logan's as a waitress. People don't realize this. Waitresses make about a good $30,000 to $50,000 a year, depending on the restaurant, depending on the girl or guy. They can make money, but it's just about managing the money. And everybody who's ever worked at a restaurant, there's a lot of people in there who they can never get a regular job because they're irresponsible. But there's a lot of reasons people can make money. I even told y'all when I worked at Papa John's, everybody in there owned a house. Because an old mortgage lender, a guy who was a mortgage lender, and the crash happened, and he came in there to work to get another mortgage lending job, he taught everybody in there how to get a mortgage. So everybody in there had a mortgage. So the key to any of this is, whether you're changing your target audience, whether you're changing what you want to do, whether you want to change jobs, you have to invest. If you can't appeal to your target audience anymore, invest. Elliot Huss went hippie. And he's a muscle builder, strongman competition dude. You can't go full hippie on muscle bodybuilding people. So him walking away for almost a year from his channel is just that, like saying, I'm no longer that person, if that makes sense. So anyway, Jackie, I agree. And try 3 Pistols 7. I'm in the 80s too. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to talk about today was, I'm never mocking Tyrese. Tyrese may have actual issues. Dealing with child support cases and all that stuff is tough. P City, I did see it. The court system is bogus to fathers and their kids' life. Yeah, I mean, it's much better if you can work out a deal on the side. And I've met many people who've done that because I'm from a military town. And a lot of times the women knew I can get a better deal if I just work it out with him. And I can get more babysitting time, more everything, right? Because a lot of times when people bring in the court, both people are mad. And so when the mom's like, hey, can you just give me a break tonight? The guy's pissed. He's like, no, I just paid you like $500 in child support. Now, let's be clear. The average child support case is like $200 to $400 in America. The average. I'm not saying it's no money. But if you're a guy and you only make $10 an hour, then yeah, it's a lot of money. But if you're a guy with a career, you know, $200, $400 is not a lot. I'll just give you an example. We were stationed in Alaska, and right before we moved, our parents were getting divorced, and they were like, yeah, in Alaska, child support's $1,000 per child. So when people say, oh my God, I'm getting killed, I'm like, you ain't getting Alaska killed. You know what I mean? You ain't getting California in some parts killed. So be thankful. But yeah, so again, focus on your target audience. And if you can't focus on your target audience anymore, invest your money. So thank you guys for letting me kind of go off the rails here. You guys have a great day. This is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Later.